This is Coach Lee, and I'm going to talk to you about timing when you are trying to get your ex back and why certain things are positive, certain words and certain actions, but only when the timing is correct. So I'm going to explain that. Number one, certain things are positive only when you have shown that you can stay away. It's really important after a breakup that you show your ex that you can stay away, not just for the benefits of the no contact rule, which can cause them to miss you, to reflect, for the smoke to clear and all that kind of thing, but also because when you do start interacting with them, either by their contact or eventually if you just decide for closure that you're going to contact them or it's accidental, it's out in public somewhere, they need to know that you were able to stay away from them. First of all, it shows that you're strong, that you're not completely dependent on them, that you don't get all of your validation for life from them. And second, it shows them that they can interact with you. They can even consider getting back together with you. And if they do, they don't have to worry about you freaking out and being crazy after the breakup because you have demonstrated that you can stay away from them, that you're not going to just blow up their phone, show up unannounced, and all that kind of thing. Basically, everything works better when you have shown them that you can stay away, that you're not going to contest the breakup and beg and plead and basically act like you're obsessed. You're going to handle it with dignity. You're going to respect their decision, and you're going to show that you're strong enough that you can actually move on. Whether or not you feel that way, you may have to fake it until you make it, but they need to see that you have the maturity and the dignity that you can stay away from them. And then lots of other things work better. So that's the first step as far as timing goes, is that ideally, before you attempt to do anything, you would allow that time to pass and see what happens. A lot of times you will hear from your ex, especially if they are not strong enough to stay away from you, which is kind of interesting that happens a lot when someone breaks up with another person and that person doesn't chase, beg, plead, or try to get the relationship back. The person who did the dumping can often find that they are the ones who can't handle the breakup, and that works so much better. Number two, when your ex is moving towards you. So let's say that you were broken up with and you have stayed away from your ex. You've used the no contact rule. You have not fought to try to get them to take you back. You've shown that you can handle this with dignity. And your ex starts reaching out to you. They start sending messages. And you respond and they keep responding. You are in a good position because you showed them that you can stay away. They know that. So they don't take you as granted for much and they have some more respect for you. Now that they're moving towards you, you can actually interact with them. And based on how they interact with you. In other words, if they are sending a message, you're responding and they're sending another one and you know it's going well. They seem like they are interested in this conversation. They're not just waiting till the next day to respond, but there's momentum. It's like a tennis match. It's going back and forth with the two of you. Then you know the timing is good. That if this is going well enough and they don't suggest it, that you can suggest a coffee get together. You can say something casual about it, like, when are you free this week for coffee? Because sometimes, even if the other person wants to get back together, they don't know how to say it. This especially happens with women a lot because they are raised and taught a lot of the times that since men are the pursuers, that they're supposed to be the leaders. And one woman even told me, I wanted to get back together with him so bad, and I kept putting myself around him, hoping he would figure that out, but he didn't. And I said, well, you're the one that left the relationship. Why wouldn't you be the one to come back to it? And she said, I know I need to do that, but I feel like I'm stepping on his toes. Like I'm stepping in and trying to lead when he should be leading and I should allow him to lead. And I said, well, if you left the relationship, it's right for you to come back to it and to say, I'm sorry. Would you please take me back? And she agreed, but she said it was really difficult for her to do that. Most of the time, that's not the case. Most of the time, when the person wants you back, they will be direct about it. They will tell you what they need to tell you. But some people, women or men, can have trouble with this and they just don't know what to say because it's a very unusual and rare conversation to actually say to someone, I was wrong. Will you please take me back, or let's get back together? And so if they're contacting you and there's a lot of momentum, you can know that the timing is right for you to actually take some action. And that can be simply inviting them for coffee. It can be also even talking a little bit about the relationship if they bring it up, and it can be matching them to a large degree. So if they say that they miss you, it's okay for you to say, I've missed you too. As long as you don't go overboard, don't say more than they have said to you. But the timing is good that you can say those things. Whereas if you had said, I miss you a few days after the breakup, or even before they contacted you, the timing's not right and will actually only harm your attractiveness in their eyes and your odds of getting back together with them. Before I get to number three, get more information on my emergency breakup kit. It's a powerful guide to help you get your ex back. You can get it at myexbackcoach.com. The URL is on the screen here, myexbackcoach.com for the emergency breakup kit. You can also book a coaching session with me or one of my coaches about a breakup, a marriage situation, or wanting to get over a breakup and moving on. That's at myexbackcoach.com. Number 3, if another person is in the picture, the timing is bad. And a lot of people will say, well, it's been 3 months. And a lot of times I will say after 3 months, if you wanted to reach out, you could, because you don't really have that much to lose and it can help people move on sometimes. But if there's another person in the picture, the timing can be thrown off because they are often in limerence with that person. Even if it's a rebound, they're very focused on them. A lot of times they will even fantasize that this person is really the one for them, that they finally found their person. And they can be so focused that there's very little you could do that would actually rebuild attraction. The best thing you can do, though, and one of the only things, is to stay away, because eventually they will go into some form of curiosity. That's the first stage that I talk about in the stages your ex goes through after a breakup. They will wonder why you haven't reached out, because they assume you want to get back together with them, because that's how it was when they broke up with you. They were breaking up with you. You wanted the relationship. You wanted them. So why haven't you contacted them? What's going on with you? And mystery can really be your friend in that situation. And it can start to make them feel distant from the person they're with, because they're certainly not going to tell this person, I've been thinking a lot about my ex. I wonder what's going on with them. Very unlikely they would say that. It would be disrespectful. It would be inappropriate. And it can start to create a wedge between them and this new person, because they're not telling them and they're keeping a secret, which harms intimacy. And especially if they were to contact you, and it may seem really innocent, like they're just checking on you, but they're not going to tell their new person that. Nobody wants to hear, yeah, I'm talking to my ex. So that's another secret that they would form with this new person. And that can actually change the timing to where your ex does start interacting with you. And even if that person is there, the timing could be right for you to actually do some of the things I'm talking about, like suggest a casual meetup if they don't. And it's just something you kind of go for. They may say no. It doesn't mean that it wasn't the right thing to do, and it gives them something to think about, and they may actually suggest it later. I see that a lot. Number 4, it's really important that you leave mystery and you leave questions for them. So if they do reach out and they ask you about certain things, only give them enough. As a matter of fact, give them an answer that you know will make them ask another question. Not only does it keep them interacting with you, which is good for them to see, it's good for them to see their own interest in texting you back. And it's also really good that they become somewhat preoccupied with you. They start thinking about you a lot. What did that mean? Why is he doing that? Why did he say that? And they can really start thinking about you even when they're with this other person, or at night when they're laying in bed. Hopefully they're all alone. They're staring at the ceiling and they think about you and they wonder about you, which is really important. And so in your interactions with them, don't just tell them everything outright. Give them just enough that it leads to another question, and so on, because that energy that they put into it, it's a form of chasing and pursuing, and you want them to be doing that. You want them to see themselves doing that. You want them to realize that they have been talking to you for hours today by text, and they keep asking you these questions, and your answers are leading them to more questions. That's how you can be very interesting. That's how you can be intriguing and mysterious and attractive. So it's important to do that. That's part of this timing recipe, is that you want to have these questions where they can think about later even, and they can become preoccupied with you, and it can start to work on them. And over time, you will be amazed, not all the time, but a lot of times you will be amazed that they will turn their focus from this other person onto you, and will ask even if you want to get back together, and you will find out that they're not interested in this other person anymore for many of the reasons that I've mentioned. And before I get to number 5, remember the emergency breakup kit. It's at myexbackcoach.com. The address is on the screen below, and you can book a coaching session with me there as well. That's myexbackcoach.com. Number 5, be slow when they pursue. So if they start coming at you, yes, that means the timing is good, and you should keep the momentum going. So you shouldn't just stifle it. You shouldn't just say no. You shouldn't just give them one-word answers unless it's appropriate in the situation, which it could be yes or I don't know. But you don't want to stop the energy and the momentum. You don't want to stop the conversation. You don't want to carry it either. And you want to make it to where they do have those questions, but also that they feel that you are somewhat reserved. Here's the key. Here's the timing part of it. You want them to feel that you are somewhat reserved, but not completely. that you are cautious about them, that you don't trust them fully because of what they did. They broke up with you. They didn't try to work on it. They didn't give you a chance. They gave you some flimsy, garbage excuse like I need to work on myself. So you are cautious of them. And when they do get to that point, and maybe they say, what would you think about getting back together? Or I want you to forgive me. I'm wondering if we can get back together. Something like that. And you can say, I'm not sure because of what you did, but I'm willing to take it one day at a time and slowly, but I'm not sure yet. That's all I can say right now. Something like that. That's how you can be slow and give enough room to them to keep moving towards you. Because if you close the gap yourself, they have nowhere to go and they're not using that energy and moving towards you, and there's not that momentum. And a lot of times that keeps them where they are because they can't move forward because you're in the way. If you stay back, it allows them emotionally to keep moving towards you and get closer to you. Subscribe to this channel if you like this video, and click that like button if you want to see more videos like this. This has been Coach Lee, and as always, thank you for watching.